This is Zach Colburn from the Personal Trainers Business Incubator. And what I want to talk to you guys about today is how to deal with negative attention and how to deal with hate online. Now, you guys might be starting your online coaching business, which means that you're going to have to put yourself out there and make yourself seen by people who are going to love you and people who are going to hate you. And you might be concerned, how do I deal with negative attention? How do I push through when all these people are trying to bring me down? Well, the first things first is like, most people aren't going to bring you down. I've been in business and been on the social media space for almost 10 years now. And I recently just got my first real hate campaign. I had someone make a 6-part video series just ripping me a new one for no justified reason. It was very unprovoked. But that's the space you're in when you're putting yourself out there online. You put yourself in the vulnerability of other people's opinions. And I really had to sit down and think, how am I going to get through this mentally? Because it was very stressful and it did make me question myself a little bit. So I created a mental model to help myself work through all that negative attention, which is what I'm going to share with you today. The first thing that you have to do is you have to journal the facts. What actually happened? Take account to everything that happened. If people are talking about you or people are spreading negative hate, you have to know your truth. So get your facts straight and understand what the actual story is. The next thing you have to do is identify the story that you're telling yourself about the situation. What story are you believing? Is it positive? Is it negative? What's the story that you've been running through your mind? Because you need to identify that, because that is going to affect your emotional state. So be very clear and detailed about what the story is that's going through your mind that's making you feel the way that you feel. Once you identify what story you're telling yourself, you have to identify a new story that you can then rewrite your thoughts with. So you have the facts, you know the truth, you identify the story that's not serving you, you rewrite the story to help you remember the truth, and then you have to ask yourself, is what happened back then affecting my current reality today? Because if it's not currently affecting your life today, it's something that you need to move on from by rewriting the story in your brain and keep moving forward, because it's not going to be affecting your current reality. The next thing that you need to understand when it comes to growing online and attracting attention is that with all the good attention that you're gonna bring, you are going to bring bad attention. It's just the way it is. It's Layla Hermosi talked about this in a video. She called it the 50-50 principle. And when you're growing and you want success and you want fame, you want notoriety, you want people to know you and you want people to love you and you want people to admire you, you have to understand that with that comes the polar opposite of people hating you, could be hating you for no reason. So you have to just accept the fact that when you are growing online and you are putting yourself out there, you are going to be putting yourself in a vulnerable situation, making you susceptible to hate. So you have to accept the good with the bad. It just comes with the job description. From there is a little thing that I like to call opinion meritocracy. And this is something that I learned from Ray Dalio, in that not all opinions are created equal. You value some opinions more than others based on their qualifications and experience. For example, if you're feeling sick, you wouldn't go to your uncle about what to do, but you would go to a doctor, because the doctor has the qualifications, the doctor has the education, they have the background. Their opinions are actually valued differently. The doctor's opinion is going to be valued way more than your uncle's opinion. So in this case, you have to understand that not all opinions are created equal. If you're listening to someone online who doesn't know you, who doesn't like you, who doesn't trust you, and has no idea even who you are, you can't value that opinion more than someone who actually knows who you are and wants to see you succeed and understands how to get you from where you are where you need to be, like your mentor. And so you have to understand that not all opinions are created equal, and that you need to value the opinions of people who are closest to you. In a situation where you're dealing with hate, go seek counsel from those people and ask them, honestly, what do you think about this situation? What's happening here? Is this true? And if the people who know, like, and trust you and actually hold the opinion that you value, then you can trust that opinion knowing that, okay, they know more about the situation than someone else would. If those same people look at the situation, they go, yeah, this doesn't look too good, or hey, you kind of fucked up here, and they can give you that honest opinion and feedback, then you know, okay, this situation is probably a little worse than I thought, or probably needs to be addressed. But if they're like, yeah, this isn't a big deal, like whatever, then you can just keep going and rewrite the story that you're telling yourself and not let it affect your current reality. The last thing with dealing with hate is that you need to have a really strong self-image. When you have negative attention coming at you, calling you fat, calling you stupid, calling you ugly, how do you see yourself? If you see yourself as ugly, fat, and someone tells you that, that could be a trigger because you actually believe it. Whereas if you know that's not the truth and your self-image is that you're beautiful, strong, and lean, then you're just gonna laugh it off because you know it's not true. One extra step that I like to take is to define who the highest version of yourself is, the one that's going to be the most successful version of you, the one that's going to provide all the good, the one that's going to make a difference in other people's lives, you have to understand that if you're going to walk away from hate, and if you're going to walk away from the negative, you are also going to walk away from all the positive that you're going to create in the world. You have to remember that. It's the rule of 50-50. With all the negative, all the hate, if you walk away from that, you're also walking away from the highest version of yourself. And you have to question whether or not you want to be that person who shows up and helps and changes other people's at the price of, dealing with negativity. Or do you want to shrink back into yourself, not get the negative feedback, but also know that you're not going to be making a difference in people's lives. That's pretty much the opportunity cost in this situation. The last thing too is you want to make sure that you stay focused on your goals. All hate is just a distraction keeping you from your goals. And so if you can stay laser focused on what you need to do every single day to progress your business and make that your number one priority, then literally all the distractions are just gonna bounce off your chest like a little pebble. So that's the mental model that I created for helping get through negative attention and negative hate. You need to identify the story that you're telling yourself and rewrite that story. You need to seek counsel from the opinions of people who know, like, and trust you. You need to accept the fact that with good, positive feedback, you are also going to get negative criticism as well. And then you have to have a really strong self-image and know who you are and what value you're providing for the world.